What's good, y'all? StudioSounds.com back with a brand new little quick beat breakdown. Every time we drop a new bank, I always make a little special beat just using kind of the bank. And after we drop every bank, we always get a bunch of questions from people asking, you know, what sound did you use over here, or what patch is this, or what patch is that. So I just want to do a quick little tutorial and just a little quick breakdown and show you guys what I used and how I made the beat that was used for the OVO, the Dynasty Volume 2 bank demo. So let's jump into it. So the very first thing I did was I wanted to kind of start it off with something that kind of had more of the style of 40. So I wanted to just, you know, use some of the nice pad sounds and the drums in here to create something like that, nice and smooth and kind of more laid back. So I started off with this patch, and this is the DR Soft Melodic Toms. Okay, and then on pattern 2, I layered some pads over the top of this. So the very first sound I used was the PD Fine Red Wine, and here's what this sounds like. So once I had that, I wanted to add another sound to it. So I added the PD, the Sparkles pad. I'll just add more depth and layer the sounds to make it a little bit thicker. So once I had that, I want just to add another little bell sound in here just to make it a little bit more melodic. So this is the sound I used right here, and here's what it sounds like when you combine these three. Okay, and then when you put these four little patterns together, this is what you get. So you just get a nice kind of retrospective, kind of deep emotional type feel based off of just two, you know, basically three elements, two pad sounds, and a nice little kind of bell, just to add some melody to it. So it worked. It sounded good to me. So the next thing I wanted to do when I wanted to bring into the verses is I wanted to have something a little bit kind of not even more dramatic or kind of meaner. I just wanted to have something a little bit harder than that for the verses, just kind of show that you can kind of do both styles. You can do the, you know, typical kind of 40 type sound that's kind of laid back and more lush, or you can actually do the little more aggressive sound, you know, like Boy Wonder or his other producers, Vinylz and whatnot. So on pattern 3, I started off with a couple different things. The very first thing I started off with was the BL Dry Bells. And if you listen, this bell sound is playing in here as well. Not very often, but just kind of add a little bit, a touch of a little more complexity to it. Then I added this little bass sound, the BA detuned sub, so just that nice low OVO type bass to kind of bring it together and make it thicker. And I added some slides to it to give it that kind of OVO type sound, something that they've been using kind of since the back-to-back track by Drake. Then I wanted to make it a little bit more melodic, so I added another brass type sound. It's BR Synth Brass 2. And just kind of make it a little bit more melodic, kind of help bring these elements together. So here's what this sounds like now. Okay, and then I wanted just one little sharper type sound in there, so I use this little hit, the chord stabs 2, every now and then, just kind of add another little element, make it more interesting. Okay, and then I added this pad sound that I actually really like, this the Apocalyptic Visions, and it almost has kind of like an effect type feel. It kind of builds as you hold it, so I thought it was just kind of something that fit in here well, and added kind of a little bit more of a dramatic type feel to it. Okay, so that's like the little beginning part. Then on pattern 9, I just used a reverse crash with a delay on it just to bring it back into like the actual drums and the verses. And then all the drums are from the Trap Fever kit. So these are the drums in here. Pretty simple pattern, but you can see all the different sounds and whatnot in here. But here's what it sounds like, the drums. Okay, and then I wanted to add a kind of a meaner 808 to the track. So I used the BA kick sub, which is just a nice little sub type 808, and I add this pattern. So when you combine all that together, you get something like this. So instead of using a crash on the one, I decided to use this little hit, and here's what this sounds like. And that's called the FX sheet metal gong. Just kind of add a little bit of dramatic effect to when the actual beat drops. And then I just kind of wanted to bring it back to this little hook section. Just kind of have a interesting kind of dynamic from the more busy type of verse to a more kind of calm, laid back type hook. Now for the hook, all I did was I also added this little bass note, and this is basically just like a little bass slide down. That's part of the bank as well, the effects low drop. Just kind of have a nice little bass line in here, but not overdo it, because, you know, the heavier the bass line is, the less you're going to be able to hear these toms. So I just kind of wanted something that was in there and present, but nothing too crazy. So here's what this sounds like. And when you combine it, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. As you can see, these are all the different patches. Everything either came from the Trap Fever kit as far as the drums, but all the other sounds are strictly the OVO bank. This bank is just great because you can just do a bunch of different stuff with it. You can, you know, do the more kind of slow P&D type stuff, or even the slow kind of Drake stuff, or you can do the harder, you know, OVO stuff. Everything kind of in the style from back to back to even the Summer 16 and whatnot. So I hope that kind of clears up what patches were used. If any of you guys had questions about that, I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini tutorial / beat breakdown. We'll have more of these coming up, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Until next time, studiosounds.com.